So we just said, okay, let's put ourselves in the agent's position. And we naturally want to help a customer. We really do. We find that meaningful when we do. Why doesn't it always happen and we enjoy it? And what an agent is trying to do, and it really has to struggle with, is I want to make the customer happy. I want to take care of them. But I also want to take care of the company and what they want me to do and what my boss wants me to do and hit these metrics and everything else. And as we just put ourselves in our shoes, in those shoes of the agent, it's like, wow, that's really tough. Because I'm trying to please two parties at the same time. And if they're not in alignment, what a grind. I am being crushed in between, the two, and I'm going to have to eventually choose one more over the other. And that is, I'm going to choose a company because I want to keep my job.
Yeah. So what you're saying, and I think I'm hearing you say at least, is that grind is this all-present force that, if not addressed, can really destroy or take away what we find meaningful in the job, which is truly helping others. That's what I'm hearing you say. Yeah.
Yeah. And an example of that is one I'm going to steal from you is when you were yjacking with an agent and they had a customer call, who's called many times, was really frustrated. No one was able to help them. And it's like, I'm calling again. Please help me. I need to get this resolved. And the agent handled it really well, saying, hey, you know what? I think I understand why you had problems. I think I can get this solved, but, hang in there with me. Probably going to have to put you on hold and do some other things to get this resolved. But hey, you know what? I'm here for you. So the agent was successful, had to put him on hold and do different things, talk to different people and get it resolved, and came back and said, hey, you're not going to have to call us again. Isn't that great? I got it solved. So, and then the reaction of the customer was like, oh my gosh, you made my day. And you did this where other people didn't. So that's where we'd say, oh, wow, that's an opportunity really right there of a meaningful moment. They really did something and really helped somebody out. So the call ends, and then the supervisor was kind of hovering around and comes by and says, hey, what have I told you about putting people on hold? That call was really long. You put them on hold 3 times. I'm going to have to fail you on that call, and you need to get better. And then it's like, oh, yeah, that's grind. I did everything that I wanted to. I really did. I enjoyed it. It was meaningful. But then the meaningful moment, in a sense, was taken away from me.
And I think in those situations, the supervisor doesn't even know they took it away. I mean, I'm not sure it's that anybody necessarily wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to be the largest source of grind in everybody's lives on my team.
Correct.
I think that what for me was a large awakening was that even sometimes with our best interests or with our best ideas in mind, we create grind for others. We oftentimes put in systems that we think are helping others, but don't. We think we're putting in processes perhaps that may help, but in fact, they create grind. I also think we probably should mention that when we talk about this idea of meaningful work and when we look at grind isn't necessarily systems, for example, that are very difficult to use. A lot of people say, oh, we have 12 applications we have to access just to help one customer. It's a grind. People will never really like work. Let's just take that example. A system itself is not grind. What is grind is imposing something they have to do that the system is holding them back from. For example, we tell them, you need to help somebody on this first contact. But they know that in that process that they have to go through in the several systems, it's not possible. That's a grind. Because I desperately want to help somebody, but I can't. Right. Yeah. Or maybe we impose a a time limit to the call. There's a certain average handle time that we need you to get through, but they know that if they follow the processes exactly as done, they won't get through it in that amount of time. That's when the process or systems or those kind of things get in the way. And so we're not saying you have to eliminate KPIs to eliminate grind. We're not saying you have to replace all your systems.
Exactly.
What we're saying is that grind, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but grind really is something that can be eliminated while keeping other things in place that are necessary to have a very competitive business.
Correct. And the biggest way to impact grind is really impacting the manager, the supervisor, is when they're changing their mindset for, okay, you know what? And we, how many times in focus groups, we hear it from the agents and the supervisors of, hey, what do you first think about when you walk in today? Oh, I hope I don't get a negative call or some escalation. And that's all we hear them talk about. It's not about all the great things we're doing and we're doing today and encouraging people, hey, that was great. And it's the other side of when everything goes wrong. So it's all this stress about don't let anything go wrong because that's going to be bad for me. It's going to be bad for you. And that mindset is really a major cause of grind. And the first thing when we really talk to people about grind, they actually usually get it pretty quickly. And it's like, oh, I identified my grind. I got grind. I don't want grind either. And so it's like, yeah, this is kind of a universal concept. So if we can just look at the different things, take the mind shift, to, let's talk about more things that are positive, encouraging, what we're doing right. And we can explain a lot of the challenges, so that people don't take it so negatively. Oh yeah, we got to do metrics. We got to do these things. Once people understand, as you said, you don't have to change a bunch of things. It's really just in the approach.
Yeah, I think, anybody who's watching should really probably consider going out and asking others, if not just themselves through observation, what kinds of things do I see causing grind? What do I see removing the true meaningful moments that we have in this business? And maybe that's a place to start. I think once you do that, you might be surprised, as one person told us a long time ago, they were not happy. They said, darn it, once you've showed me grind, I can't unsee it.
And
because
that's
it's all
a beautiful
around us.
thing.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful thing.
We hope that people will join us for future episodes as well. We'll dig more into this concept of grind, and certainly leave us your comments. Tell us what you thought about it, and also what other kinds of things would you like us to talk about.
Sounds good. So until next time, take care.